Hello and welcome to another one of these videos where I talk about the design of a game. Today I'm going to be looking at the Warioware series, and now I love Warioware. I have a lot of fun playing the games. I'd say that Warioware is one of my favorite games, and I'm excited to be talking about it today. So the Warioware series consists of games that are full of tons of micro games that the player will play through during different levels of the game. Each level has its own set of microgames that then ends with a unique boss level that tends to be a bit longer and a bit more complex than the rest. So what is a microgame? Microgame is a simple, short minigame, but they are much less than a typical minigame. They usually require the player to only do like one or two actions, at least in the Warioware series, such as like just jumping over an object or aiming and shooting a laser at a meteor in space. This video is going to be about the entire game series, but I'll mainly be focusing on the one for the Wii, WarioWare Smooth Moves, and then the most recent WarioWare that came out on the Nintendo Switch, WarioWare Move It. One thing that I think is very good about WarioWare is that it's very fast-paced. The microgames are really quick and they only last like a couple seconds before the player has to go and do the next one. And as the player progresses through a level, the speed will pick up periodically, so as they're playing, the game just gets faster and faster and they have to move or go faster and faster. And this is present in more than just the microgames and the level. The fast-pacedness like permeates outside of them and even into the transitions between levels, which keeps the player's energy up the entire time, because in between the levels there's this little musical interlude that's like, oh, you're on stage 3 of this level, and then it's like there's this little like do 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 do. And then as the player continues, that do-do-do-do-do gets faster when the speed picks up. So it there is a break between the microgames. Like there is a break in the action, but the music and the sound effects and everything keep the energy going and don't break the pace that the game has built. The two games that I said I'd be talking about mainly, Smooth Moves and Move It, use motion controls in their microgames. And this adds another level of fun since you're using your entire body, not just your fingers, to play the microgames. It helps make the player more engaged since more of their body is engaged and more actively engaged in the game. And and all this movement gets the blood pumping and that dopamine and those endorphins flowing. I don't know what I'm talking about with this, but these hormones get released by your body during exercise and make your brain feel good. And I think that also contributes to the enjoyment of playing these games with these motion controls. And it's just really fun to jump around and wiggle around really frantically, flailing your arms and everything as you try to keep up with the pace of these microgames, especially as they get faster. And it's fun to do with friends as well. They have multiplayer in the Nintendo Switch version, so you can jump around and flail around with your friend. There was another WarioWare game that came out on the Switch that I don't think did very well, and I kind of have an idea of why it didn't do great. So WarioWare Get Together was the first WarioWare that released on the Nintendo Switch, and I think what caused it to not do as great or not be as appealing is just what the gameplay ended up being. What the game pretty much was a bunch of platforming microgames that the player would have to complete, which this platforming gameplay is kind of not as appealing as jumping around and swinging your arms around, or even what it was before, where you would just do a single simple action for each microgame. In this one, you kind of have to move your characters around and hit things and push things or navigate through a space to complete the microgame. The microgames with the platforming were still fun, but they didn't have the same charm as the previous WarioWare games. Like, I played a little bit of it, and I really felt like I was restricted by the speed and the clunkiness of the characters. It wasn't as much on me to complete the microgames as it was the skill that I had to use these characters, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't my reflex to like press the button at the right time or my timing. It was, oh, I need to position the character in the right place and then have them hit this object the right number of times or in the right way to do it, which wasn't as fun to me at least. Also, the way that the platformers were programmed kind of didn't go well with the speed of the game, again, because the characters had a limited speed that you could move around at. You were restricted by the slowness and, again, clunkiness of the characters. And doing it this way, I think it made it less exciting because it slowed the game, and if you positioned yourself incorrectly or, physics failed you, it would be more frustrating than like, oh, I could do this, I was just bad at it, and more of a get angry at the game for being stupid kind of thing. I don't have a video of the game this time. I might go on it eventually, and it'll be an end card on this video if I do, but I'm not sure how I would do a Warioware video, if I would do camera or no camera, and then I would have to figure out making the camera, and then if I don't have a camera, then I kind of feel like a Warioware video should have a camera, especially the one with the motion controls, so you can see me move. And I think that would be fun and silly to see me jumping around and everything. So yeah, I'll have to see what I want to do with that. I'm also still figuring out what I want to do with this series, whether it's talk about things I think games did great, or just look at a game and try to think of it from a design standpoint and discuss what I think worked and what didn't, like I did in the last episode, or if I do both of these things for different games. Because if there's like a mechanic in a game like this, or not, this isn't necessarily a mechanic, but it's an element of this game series that I think really worked well, I could just make a video talking about this mechanic and being like, hey, this is great that it worked, and this is why I think it worked, and how they used it to their benefit, versus me just trying to pull at straws and try to find something I can talk about in the design of a game. But I'll have to see. As I make more videos, I'm gonna probably figure out where I'm gonna go. I'm also running out of games to talk about. Every time I have to come up with a game, I have to sit here for like a couple minutes like, oh, what game do I do? I scroll through my VODs, I scroll through like my Steam library of games I've played, I scroll through other lists of games that I have to try to find like, okay, what is a game that I can talk about? Or what is a game that I've played that I like and that I have something to say about? Or what is a game that I think is going to be interesting to make a video about? And it takes time, and it's like, I'm having trouble finding some. So yeah, if anyone's here watching at this point in the video and has a game that they think I could talk about and would be interested in seeing me talk about, leave it in the comments and I'll see what I can do about it. So yeah, thanks for coming again. I'm enjoying doing this series now. I think this is number 5. Wow, it's been over a month that I've been posting these videos. I think it's number 5. I don't remember. I was looking this morning. I think there was 4. But yeah, I do hope to keep continuing this as long as I can. I have time to work on these videos. And again, I'm having fun, and I think doing this will help me understand games from a design standpoint better, and then think about my game projects from a design standpoint better. And I hope if anyone here is watching that, this video probably didn't help too much. I guess, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.